Hi everyone, this is Rob from the Geek Show, and today we're talking about Book of Demons, which is a new game from Trunk Studios, which is a Polish video game studio. They're an indie developer, and they've got this interesting thing that they're doing called Return to Games, and Book of Demons is the first game in this video game series. It's a love letter to classic hack and slash games. Now, they do have a video that actually explains what the whole Return to Games concept is about, and it's a concept that I'm fascinated by because it's something that I personally really wanted to happen, and I'm really happy that there is actually an indie developer or a developer in general out there who is looking at video games from the same perspective or a similar perspective that I have, being an older gamer. Let's go back a bit. In their manifesto for Return to Games, Trunk are basically talking about old video games that weren't targeted at any particular type of player. They weren't targeted at casual gamers or hardcore gamers or anything like that. They were simply being made for the joy of games. Now, they go back to the 90s. My history with games goes back to the 80s. But the same message still resonates back in the 80s and in the 90s. Games weren't targeted at anyone in particular. They were simply targeted at people who wanted to play games. That was it. Now you have this divide between AAA games and indie games, and you have mid-core games, and you have casual gamers, and you have hardcore gamers calling people filthy casuals and all sorts of stuff like that. It's such a toxic environment now, and Return to Games, it seems to be an effort to go back to how games used to be when everybody was simply playing games for the love of playing games. And I've got to say, Book of Demons is a great start to that whole concept. Now, Book of Demons is what you can see in front of you. I have to say, I love the cardboard cutout art style that they've got here, and I love the whole setup of Book of Demons. We'll get into the main game in a bit. Obviously, you've got all the dialogue bits and all the introductory bits going on in front of you right now. It is an isometric dungeon adventure. It is very, very linear, but there's nothing wrong with that linearity. It harks back to the old way of playing games when you didn't really have branching storylines or multiple endings. You had a few games that had that. Chrono Trigger is one of the ones that I think of when I think of games that have multiple endings. But this is a game where it's very simple to play, it's very easy to get into, and it's actually a hell of a lot of fun, I've got to say. I didn't expect it to be as much fun as it is, and I think it's a testament to what Trunk have done here. If this is the way they're approaching all of the games in the Return to Games series, then I'll be honest, I am really looking forward to what they've got in store. Now, Trunk have been working on the Return to Games series for a while now, and their first outing being Book of Demons, it plays right into my wheelhouse. I am a big RPG fan. I know that some people will say this is very Diablo-esque, mainly because of the perspective. I don't find it to be the same as Diablo or Diablo-esque, and the reason for that is there's a simplicity to this game which you don't get in a lot of isometric dungeon crawlers. That's not to say that that is a bad thing. Simple doesn't mean bad. Simple just means it's easy to play, it's easy to get into. You don't have to wade through all sorts of complicated game mechanics to get into the game, and that actually makes it a lot more fun. So what's so fun about this game then? Well, there's a little bit of tongue-in-cheek humour in there, but the main part of it is when you're exploring the dungeon, it actually has the feeling of you being on an adventure. It doesn't feel like all of these other isometric games where there's a sense of you have to go in and you have to do this thing and you have to be hardcore about it. At the beginning of the game, there are helpful, handy hints, little question marks that you can click on. And the fact that you can click on anything that's in your sight and destroy it or attack it, that actually adds to the fun of it. It's mouse and keyboard, mainly mouse, but that again isn't something that you should be put off by. So we're in the dungeon proper, you get an idea of it, and you can see the footprints that tell you where you've been, where you're going, things like that. You can see clicking around, you can destroy pots and open chests, and you can attack things as well. So as you're going along, you'll eventually fight boss monsters. All the traditional mechanics are there, they're just simplified, made easier to play.
The identity of this place has been found.
So anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Watch the rest of the video, see what you think of Book of Demons. I think it's a great start to the Return to Games concept. I think Thing Trunk have done an amazing job with this. As I said, I love the art style and I love the simplicity of the game. I think the card system that they've adapted for this game really works well. It adds a degree of flexibility and uniqueness to the setup, and I'm really looking forward to the rest of the games in the series. As I said, let me know what you think of Book of Demons. Have you played it, or are you interested in playing it? Leave us a comment below, let me know, and we'll see you on the next video.
been busy too while you were away. The fortune teller is teaching me her craft, and I don't mean her skill with cards. It's called prize brewing, and it's the art of producing powerful magical elixirs that someone like you should find useful. All you need to do is collect the ingredients. I'll take care of the rest. Now, this is the magical stuff I'm talking about, so there are some rules. First, the more ingredients I mix, the greater the potion's power will be. Second, you can drink it and enjoy a little magic anytime you want, but the process will get more expensive each time. Third, if monsters slay you in the dungeons, the potion will weaken. It's because I'm making them just for you, so they have to be magically linked to your essence.
Living souls venture into the depths under the cathedral, as this is the realm where the dead rest, or at least should be resting. Countless warriors, men of the cloth, mages, and even kings of old were buried there with troves of gold and gems. But the dead are now restless. Quickened by some unholy powers, they are haunting the corridors like wild animals, and their courage, virtue, and talents have been replaced with mindless violence. Ending their painful existence will be an act of mercy, if you ask me.
Greetings, traveler. People call me the fortune teller. I'm pleased to see there are souls courageous enough to visit a place like this and stay. In truth, I came here recently myself, as I had to leave the royal capital. I am certain you have already heard about me and my excellent skills from the lovely barmaid I'm tutoring. Believe me when I say you will find my craft most useful in your adventures. Feel free to talk to me should you need any assistance. The townsfolk are good but simple people and know little about the arcane. That sage may be an exception, but his wit, not to mention his social skills, are clearly dulled by age. We're all lucky that cranky old men tend to be harmless. Cards are my specialty. They represent a novel approach to magic, offering a superior alternative to clunky weaponry and verbose spellcasting. Unfortunately, new things are often frowned upon, even more so in quaint places like this town. Can you imagine not so long ago those people traded with a local blacksmith? This is so Middle Ages. No wonder he went bankrupt. But let's get back to business. Cards are universal magical items which can manifest properties of weapons, spells, and other artifacts. Some consume magical essence once used, but they can be recharged using objects found in the dungeons or with my help at a reasonable price. Just like with playing cards, the trick is to find the right combination of magical properties that gives you the best advantage.
can see your future is very grim.
failed!
I had a terrible dream.
Animated cadavers are capable of experiencing only the most base effect, hunger. Who can imagine a less meaningful existence? Their bodies are still decomposing, so it's recommended to keep them at a distance as the gases they produce are of the deadliest kind. Fortunately, they also smell awful, which serves as a warning, just like the stench of charlatanry emanating from the fortune-teller's wagon.
Thank the heavens for hearing my prayers and sending us a champion of light. I shall aid you in your struggle to the best of my limited abilities. Come to me should you need remedies for ailments of body or soul. Yet you should remember it is no small task to face the legions of evil. You must shield yourself with faith. There is no better protection against darkness. If you allow yourself to falter, you shall become defenseless and even risk losing your immortal soul. I saw what happened to those who went astray in their spiritual vocation and... no, it's better not to dwell on such things lest darkness overcome us.
Missed me already?
These great creatures are made of stone, which makes them extremely resilient to elements. Fire, frost, or poison cannot harm them. Their abilities are fascinating. When harmed, they petrify and lie in slumber for thousands of years, slowly regenerating. All adventurers should be warned that statues may not be what they seem. Some scholars claim that gargoyles carry a trace of demonic blood, like that charlatan woman, although it's much more obvious in her case.